There are lots of topics that go uncovered in Bhop tutorial videos that I believe are important to know. And so in this video, I'll feature a couple of the more important details that get overlooked often. So whether you're a beginner or you're more advanced, hopefully you learn something new from this. And before I start, there's a couple things I'd like to add, like the fact that you will need a config for this, as you would for anything movement related in CS2. So I've gone ahead and just put a download link in the description to my personal one. And I've also dedicated the end of this video to explaining how to set it up and also going through all the lines of code and explaining what they do. On top of that, I've also cut this video up into chapters so you can navigate it a little bit easier. And just before we start, a quick little message from the sponsor of today's video. So the two biggest mistakes I see players make when they're learning how to Bhop is air strafing and scroll speed. So with the first one, air strafing, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's pressing a directional key and turning your mouse in that direction. This is how you control yourself in the air. This is also the base for bunny hopping, any kind of movement, long jumping, surfing, pretty much anything related to moving in this game. Air strafing is a part of that. So again, the way you air strafe is you press the directional key A or D, and then you turn your mouse that direction. So A for left, D for right. Now the way you can check to make sure that your air strafes are good is get into a private server, SV cheats true, and then you want to type CL show pause 1 in your console. Now it is pretty sunny here and the numbers are a little covered, so I'm going to turn down the gamma a little bit. But the main thing you're looking for is this velocity right here. As a base idea, your running speed with a knife out is 250 units. So if you're bhopping or doing anything like that, you want to keep it over 250. So something that a lot of people do when they're starting off is they strafe way too fast. This is the main thing that I see when I'm looking at people trying bunny hop. And it looks a little something like this. So the speed pretty much just dips the second you start turning too quickly. You can see it's falling under 250 there. A good air strafe would look something like this, where the number reaches almost 290, around 290, like 280. Now you can do this in any direction, obviously left and right. And that's pretty much, you want to have smoothness in your motion. You don't want to go up and down with your mouse. You just want to go left and right. So just get into a server and just practice just getting air strafes right. Just slow it down or speed up your mouse. You can also go too slow and then you don't gain too much speed. And once you can get pretty much all of your strafes to go over 270, that's when you can start chaining them together to hit proper bhops and everything like that. Scrolling is the second most integral part to learning how to bunny hop. It's what lets you chain air strafes together. And the best place and the best way to start learning how to scroll and how to chain air strafes together is just a large open space. So you can use nuke, you can use dust 2. Here I'm using overpass. You just want somewhere flat where you won't have any changes in geometry so it doesn't affect your jumps. Now the biggest thing I want to say when it comes to scrolling, and the biggest mistake that I've seen people make, is you're not using your scroll wheel as a spacebar. So you don't want to just be scrolling the second you touch the ground. That's not what we use the scroll wheel for. The reason we use the scroll wheel for bunny hopping is because it lets us get a constant stream of space inputs in. Having said that, every mouse is different. Every scroll wheel is different. There's different notches. There's different ways that it scrolls. So what I recommend is just going to this website here. I'll put a link in the description for it. And it just lets you scroll and just see where there's gaps and everything. So if you're scrolling too fast, you'll see what happened there and here. There's like gaps in the line. You just want to find the correct scroll speed that's not too fast, not too slow, that has no cuts in it. And once you figure that out for that mouse, you just want to go into your game and you just want to start jumping around and trying to chain them together, just constantly scrolling. Another thing to note is everyone scrolls differently. So I know some people that just like scrolling only forwards, some people that only like scrolling backwards. I personally like to scroll in both directions. It just lets me constantly keep scrolling and constantly keep jumping. And it just makes bunny hopping, in my opinion, just a little bit easier. But once you've gotten used to chaining hops together and can do it semi-consistently, that's when we can move on to the next part, which is using the environment around you and getting bhop started easily and everything like that. Another reason why keeping a constant scroll speed is useful is for things like hitting edge bugs like this one outside. where you're constantly scrolling, and as you saw there, as long as you constantly scroll, you'll slide off the thing and then hit the curb pretty much every time. Another thing I want to add is you don't have to constantly change directions when you're bunny hopping. You can keep the same direction just fine. So say I want to get around this pillar, I don't have to go like this to get around it. I can just hold D, and as long as I'm keeping that air strafe, you should be keeping that velocity. And that plays into when you're wanting to switch directions later on. You want to be able to keep a jump and keep one long air strafe going, so you can switch directions, like turn yourself sideways. It also all depends on how much mousepad space and sensitivity that you have, because obviously less mousepad space means you can't keep a long air strafe. But yeah, just keep that in mind. You don't have to limit yourself to constantly jumping left and right, and it could lead to you having more success and make it a little easier hitting those longer bunny hops. One thing I've seen a lot of people not really talk about when it comes to bunny hopping and everything like that is using the environment to your advantage. My personal favorite thing to do is slamming my head into doorways. It just gives you a little bit of a speed boost, and it can just guarantee you can start a B-hop pretty much every time. I haven't really seen people use this a lot or really talk about it, but it's just something that'll make B-hopping a lot easier, and it just looks cool. And you can use it in a lot of situations. So for example, if you want to get over this railing in heaven, just slamming your head into it will help you get a little bit of a speed boost, and it just makes it a little more awkward for the person holding outside to shoot you if you're just quickly bouncing up and down and getting over the railing and everything. The last thing I want to cover is surf ramps. So this one here on overpass is probably the biggest example of that. Just coming off of a surf into a B-hop just lets you get across water a lot faster, and it just gives you a lot more velocity. Alright, so installing config is pretty simple. You just want to click the download link in my description and download this file here. Then you're going to want to right click it, hit extract all, show extracted files and done, and hit extract. It'll take you to this. Leave all of this for now. We're going to head over to Steam, right click CS2, go properties. First thing you want to do is in the launch options, you want to put this line right here, -exec space autoexec.cfg. This makes it so every time you run your game, it'll run the autoexec. If you don't want it to do that, don't put it there. Then afterwards, go to installed files and click browse. It'll take you to the game folder. Now this is really important that you go to this exact folder. If you put it anywhere else, it just won't work. You want to go to game, then you want to go to CSGO, then CFG. Once you're here, you can copy paste everything here. Make sure you copy absolutely everything from this folder. If you already have an autoexec, you can go through this one and copy the commands you want, but it's important that you copy the folder and these 3 other CFGs here. Once you've put them into your config folder here, that's pretty much it. When it comes to the code, just before I start, I do want to say, please don't change anything other than the autoexec. If you want to change a bind or anything, please try and do it in the autoexec, because if you go through any of these other folders and try to change anything, it might just result in you not being able to jump, period. But other than that, I've gone ahead and I've also just commented everything in the autoexec here. So if you're ever wondering what something does, you don't have to check back with this video. You can just read through here, but I'll go through it anyway. So at the top, I have my game settings here. These are for performance. If you don't want to use these, or if these don't work for you, you can always remove them. It's no problem. Then this section is the desubtick jumping section. I've been trying it for a couple of weeks. It works just fine. Works honestly just as good as the other one. But I've included it here. It uses these 2 configs. If you don't like to use these, however, you can always just comment these out. And I've left the old ones here. All you'd have to do is just unbind them and you'll be all good. It should start working immediately. Next up is just a regular subtick bind. So duck and jump here with your spacebar. You want to keep these subticked and not desubticked because it doesn't really make a difference anymore. If you do want to change your crouch, you can just come in here and change it through here. Next are nulls. Now these like kind of work and they kind of don't work, so you either won't feel a difference at all or you'll feel a minor difference. If you don't like it, you can always just remove this or comment it out. The file that it uses is this one right here. It doesn't use anything in movement. So if you don't want it, you can remove it. Next is desubtick shooting. I've been personally using this for a long time. I think to me personally it makes a difference. It just makes the shots feel a little crispier. But one side note with the desubtick shooting is when you're spectating someone and you want to go to the next person, left click won't work anymore since it's only bound to shooting. You'd have to use your right click. If you don't want that, again, comment these out or remove it. It's no problem. This one doesn't use any kind of external config. This is just mainly in the auto exec, so you can do that there. Next one is a couple like quality of life ones I have in here. Again, you can remove them. But this one I have it bound to alt, and it makes it so when you're in a private server, you don't have to press a key to toggle on and off. It's just a no clip on hold, so you would just hold it and then you can no clip around. Next one is just what I use to toggle my HUD on and off. I know there's a much more simple line you can use to do this. This is just what I've been using for like a solid year now. So it's just P. You can change it here. If you don't want it bound to P, it just gets rid of your HUD, puts only the kill feed and your crosshair on the screen. This line right here execs this entire folder, which is used for pretty much everything else in the config. So preferably you don't touch it. Next one is the tool volume. So if you're in any third-party map like Movement Hub or anything like that, and you have all the like sounds that are constantly going on that are super loud, this will just automatically set them to be pretty quiet. This is just a tag that shows up in the console when you run it, and this is what makes that cat sound. If you don't want to hear the cat sound every time you boot your game, you can just remove it again. But that's pretty much it when it comes to the actual auto exec. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace.